So it didn't go well. And welcome back to the Tiki Rebellion. Adam Rains, how you doing, brother?
Man, I cannot believe this is episode number 3 already. It seems like just yesterday, last week, the other
Yeah, a
week
month
when
and a
we weren't
half
even
ago,
doing this.
however long ago it was, we started this out, and we are finally on episode 3. We thought it would be interesting to sort of dissect something that everyone in the tiki and cocktail community does, but maybe doesn't put a lot of thought into. We want to talk about tasting, how to taste, how we're going to pull notes out of something. Because really, again, when you look at tiki, one of the things that got me very interested in it is it's really the only cocktail methodology where you take the same spirit but different representations of it and blend it together. No one's making a Manhattan with, well, I have this old Overholt rye, and then we're going to add some Pappy Van Winkle, to put them all together. You don't make a um, vodka martini with Absolute, Kettle, and Grey Goose or anything like that. But it is common with tiki drinks to use split bases and to have the same base, different types of rum from different regions. And of course, there's a reason for that. The different rums bring the different flavors. So, yeah, I thought we'd do a little bit of exploration in how to taste. And I've always compared tasting wine, and I think this equates to tasting spirits, like learning a language. If you can read a book, you can get a podcast, much like this, and hear about it, but you're going to learn so much more by just doing it. It is learning a language. When you hear, sommeliers talking about I get notes of old shoe leather and a touch of wet dog and a little bit of Sunday morning. And you're like, what is this pretentious bullshit? But then once you start tasting, and it really for me took me probably 4 months of every Saturday back when I was serving at a fine dining restaurant. Every Saturday, we would sit down and try 5 or 6 wines, various reds and whites. And I had no experience. I was probably 22 before I realized they even blended varietals. I remember buying this probably like $18, California, whatever crap wine. And I was like, dude, this has got Cabernet and Merlot in it. Did you even know they could do
They
that?
do
Like,
that?
oh my God. Yeah, this is some hybrid stuff. Um, and yeah, my
Meanwhile,
knowledge
without thinking, yeah, that's what tradition was, always a blend to help hedge their bets with their crops.
100%. Yeah. But yeah, again, dumb kid in Iowa, I had no idea. And so, yeah, trying all these different wines, they're like, well, do you think it's a Pinot? Do you think it's a Merlot? Is it a Grenache? And I'm like, well, I can assure you it's red. Just by looking at it, lovely garnet. Don't really know beyond that. And yeah, it took me about 4 months of doing that 4 times a month to really then all of a sudden something clicked. I'm like, wait, no, I recognize that flavor profile.
Like,
Yeah, so that's why we really wanted to kind of do this, like, again, how to taste episode, because it seems so intrinsic, like part of the human condition. Like, yeah, I drink things, I taste them. Like I have preferences. But do you taste like a couple of crusty old assholes that have been doing this for over 20 years individually? So
this tastes like a cigarette.
I
This tastes
thought
like those jalapeno chips I've had. Um, I know we'll go over it, but I always like to mention the tasting is 100% personal, as a little disclaimer. So anything that we taste, you might not necessarily taste, or you have to taste, or might not be right. It might not be right to you, but it could be right, to me or to Nick.
oh,
So
100%.
that's
And
something to
that's
think about.
that's really defining your own palate. Like, when you can say with 100% confidence, like, I know what I like. I know, whether it's alcohol content, esters, all the different components that go into a spirit. Like I know where my palate lies. It's really freeing because then you eliminate variable. This is don't be that guy. Figure out who you are. You are the only one that will live your life. So figure out what you enjoy. We want to help you do that. And to do it, we're going to start in an area that we're both very comfortable in wine. What are you drinking today, Adam?
So I have the 160 Ani, the 150, no, 107. My Italian's not as good as my Spanish, but
It sounded
by
really good.
Ippolito. This is from Calabria. It is the toe of the boot in Italy, southern Italy. And this is a grape that I haven't had. I worked in Italian restaurants for a long time, and this is one I've only tried maybe once before. And this is when I was in Calabria visiting the Capa distillery, who makes Vecchio Mare del Capo. I am a Maro fan. So when I was down there, this is one of the ones that I got. So I'm really happy that I could open it and try it right now.
So you're going to be doing a red, and I'm sorry if you said, do you know the varietal of it?
Yeah, it's Galliopo.
Oh, Galliopo.
Galliopo. No, it's by Campagna. So many people are familiar with Aglianico, which is known as like the Barolo of the South.
Right.
It grows next to Aglianico, but we will see right now. I don't remember all the flavor profiles of this one because not having tried it in a long time. So we will see, but I'm guessing it's going to have earth to it. It's going to have a good amount of acidity. That's my guess is on this one, and I'm happy to try it right now.
And I'm going to be going with a Gruner Veltliner from Austria. This is the Kremser Sandgrube 2002. I love Gruner Veltliners. Almost every wine list I've run, I have one of these by the glass. Do not sleep on Gruner Veltliner. Almost always, you can recognize they will have the Austrian flag on the cap. They are almost always a Stelvin enclosure, so I don't even have to worry about fumbling around with a wine key. And I get it. I'm an old school wine traditionalist. I love a cork, but Stelvin enclosures, screw tops don't fail. I never have to worry if this is oxidized, how it was stored, whether it was laid down or kept vertical.
And you're that much closer to another glass by just
ready to crack and go. I always call them porch pounders. You think about that when it's July and the sun's going down. And if you live in a reasonable part of the country, it's maybe like 92. And if you live here, it's still 207. But, you go outside, you maybe want to grill some meats, and you just want a great, fun wine that you can crush and not think about. And this is of a lot of debate, especially when it comes to wine. What is the right glass? You've got a bit more of kind of a Burgundian hybrid there.
Mm-hmm.
So, very good for a red wine. You've got that big bowl, gives a lot of surface area. There's a great phraseology that water is to whiskey as air is to wine. A little bit really opens it up, and too much really messes it up. But you got to think that bottle. Did you give me the vintage on that bottle, Adam? What year is it?
This is 2019.
So 2019. So that bottle has not been exposed, or that wine has not been exposed to air for 5 years. It's been cooped up
just
with
whatever it gets.
Just that little bit in the neck, and the little bit of gas exchange you're going to get through the cork. But this is the first time that wine is breathing in 5 years. And oxidization is a great thing. That's why with reds, you want that big bowl. You want to be able to swirl and have a lot of different surface area. That's why a lot of times with reds, you'll see decanting. You're not doing it just purely to remove sediment, especially in today's modern winemaking practices. You're doing it
or to impress your business colleagues,
to seem fancy.
It's a flex. Yeah.
I'm drinking out of this glass I got from Goodwill that looks like it should be from Christmas, but it's like a more traditional. Yeah. Oh, it is. As this thing catches the light, try not to be mesmerized. I chose it because it's a more traditional white glass. I'd probably use a Chardonnay glass for this if I were choosing. Now, as you can see, if you're watching this on the video, Adam's really dipping his nose in the thing. We talked about for a minute, we kind of both did it without speaking about it. And this is going to be something where Adam and I need to make sure we're paying attention because this is so second nature to us. We need to explain the steps. Like you see people swirl their wines, and generally it's, very nice vintage, a little bit snooty, but you're swirling the wine because, again, we're exposing it to air. So as we swirl it, all liquid wants to be a gas at some point, and all liquid is slowly becoming a gas. So as we move it around, you're just getting all those flavor notes. You're exposing it to air, which is opening up the flavor profile, but it's also opening up what's called the nose of the wine. If you want to do a really professional tasting, have a white sheet of paper on the table in front of you, hold your glass at an angle and look at the wine through that. What you're looking at is what's the color of the wine. Is it like in my case right now, I would say I've definitely got I would say straw. It is a very pale yellow, reminds me of summer months, a little bit sun bleached. But you also want to look where the wine meets the glass. It's called the meniscus. If the meniscus is watery, like especially it's easier to tell with a red. But if you have a red wine where when it meets the edge of the glass, it's red all the way to the end, it's probably a lower ABV or alcohol by volume red. Where if you've got this clear kind of watery meniscus around it, it's generally a higher ABV. You might be looking 14.5% with that glass. So these are all the things, again, is people that have professionally bought and sold wine. This is what we're evaluating. I haven't even smelled this fucking thing yet. This is what I'm picking up from it just by saying, okay, here's the color I'm getting.
And yeah, that's, it's like we drink with our eyes, we eat with our eyes. Like that's the first thing we notice. And I think that is some, you can make those inferences like on white. You can definitely taste, you can tell about the, you can make the inferences like, oh, how long has that been aged? Does that have the wood tannins? Sometimes even you can tell, if it's you can definitely tell if it's like been naturally produced or, like an orange wine, you can kind of tell. And some wines are kind of, if they're depending on how they're filtered and everything. And then I always love like looking at those reds that are also, you mentioned, if it's all the way red to the edge, or, you have like some wines that are actually kind of orange around there, like the Nebbiolo grape, and I think Merlot grape as well also has those orange hues. So you can kind of make those little guesses on what you think it will be.
All right, Adam. So we've looked at the wine, we've smelled the wine. I think since it's a tradition that white is before red, if you don't mind, I'm going to give a couple of notes on the nose of mine and then a couple of tasting notes and see if it matches what my expectation is. Sound good?
Yes.
Yeah, really from this, I'm getting white flower, I'm getting honeysuckle. There's a bit of that wet stone, a bit of that minerality, and a light like confectioner sugar sweetness. So right away, I would say great on its own. I really kind of want like spicy shrimp dish with this, is what it's sort of calling to for me. So again, as I'm drinking, here's something that's a little different than what you might do. You might notice me make these weird faces like, and while most of my faces are weird, what I'm doing with that is it's called aeration. You kind of open your mouth a little bit, you hold the liquid on your tongue, and then you breathe in over it. Kind of makes this bubbling sound in your ears. But because so much of our taste receptors are actually come from smell rather than our taste buds, this is really getting me a lot more of the profile of this wine than if I just hit it and quit it, chugged it down.
Yeah, and if you end up tasting out there, if you end up tasting with people that taste a lot of wine, you'll hear that, and you'll hear some people that really like they just found that out, and they will go for it on that. You'll hear everyone.
Oh yeah,
you'll hear all kinds of gurgling.
dude.
So
When I was
it's a little bit off-putting at first.
yeah, when I was in my like the height of my wine sales, I literally aerated everything I drank. Like I'd be drinking a fucking Red Bull after work, and I'm like, pull it over, like really gotta taste this thing. Like, what am I doing? This is not designed to be tasted. This is designed to kill me slowly. But yeah, from that, it's really drinking how I thought it would. There's light passion fruit, a touch of kiwi. The white flowers aren't so much there on the palate or on the palate as they are on the nose. But I am getting that minerality. I'm getting that wet stone. It's just crisp. It's a little bit tart. It's lovely. It's everything I was hoping to be. And I'm excited about it. I want to go back. I'm enjoying it. And shouldn't that be with everything we consume? Like rather than just let's slam this down so I can stumble down the stairs later. Like, wow, that's an elevated experience for a $15 bottle, at the local liquor store. Like that gets me hyped. That gets me excited. I want to go downstairs and grab some different hard cheeses and a few different types of nuts in that and just see how do they play together? How does that change the experience? So what do you got
Um,
there,
oh,
handsome?
ooh, so let's get into this. So yeah, I just grabbed this bottle. It's been staring at me for a while since, for about 6 months since I got back from Calabria. And I didn't really research it, but I'm excited it's right here. So let's see what's going on with this.
So Adam's tucking in, getting some really good nose, and you also did where you're getting your nose and mouth in there, which engages your sense of smell even more.
Absolutely, man, and I'm sure you've noticed, Nick. I know how like the molecules will come out at different parts of the glass too.
100%.
So as that interaction happens, so if you go to like 3 o'clock versus 6 o'clock versus 9 o'clock in the glass, you tend to get different notes. But
And you can go
on this,
nose blind if you're smelling a wine too much. So a really good trick that a lot of somms use is smell your arm. If you're worried that, man, I'm not pulling as much as I was the first couple of smells, smell your arm. You're used to what you smell like. It's like hitting reset.
I mean, as long as you're not going too deep into the
Go
armpit,
deep into
then
the pit,
it's
man. Get to know yourself. You're getting to know the
yeah.
wine. You're getting to know you. This is all very exciting. Other
There's all kinds
diners,
of like spice elements in this wine that
right? Yeah. If you're out to dinner with other people and they're like, "What are you doing?" You're like, "Maybe you should smell my armpit. Let's all get on board. We're having a shared experience."
Yes, absolutely. Well, so this wine doesn't smell like armpit. This is I'm getting cherry for sure. Um, almost it's a little bit floral as well. There's like a little like dried, almost dried like rose petal,
Lovely.
but also kind of like fresh flower to it as well. I don't know if it's cherry blossom or if that's just in my mind, but you can't really smell any notes of like of the barrel so much. They're not standing out, but
So potentially what we're
it's
thinking from that is it's maybe light time on wood or it's wood that's been used multiple times.
exactly. And this is I mean it's fragrant aromatic. It's like it's a very pretty red wine. It's a little more, I was expecting it to be a little more to get some more earth to it, but let's try it. Oh, that's nice. Like I was saying, it matches the nose. The palate on the palate matches the nose because it is. I'm getting fruit and delicate. And it has a really kind of like airy texture. I mean, it's kind of medium body, maybe a medium plus, but it's not a real big wine. I am getting kind of like more of the rose. It's kind of like matching what it was on the nose. Um, Good acidity.
So likes food but doesn't need food.
Yes. And then, I mean, like expecting old world style, you expect it to have some tannins to it. And like, it's just, those tannins are just on the finish and just enough to kind of
Yeah.
close out the flavor curve a little bit. And then things just kind of linger. The acidity kind of lingers on that. I think this is, like I mentioned, it's definitely more delicate than I was thinking. So now I'm almost thinking like other Southern Italian wines, not Aglianico, which can be like, medium plus bodied and a little bit bigger. I'm thinking almost like Sicily. Like, if you've had wine from Etna Rosso, there's some delicate wines from Sicily too. Um, I'm I'm enjoying it, and I know Heidi got Rosati's tonight, so I have some pizza, and I haven't
Oh, that
tried their
sounds
Italian
lovely.
beef yet. So
You
we'll see.
know,
I think this is a great pizza one.
as you're describing that wine, I think I really want to try it with like chilled sliced roasted beets, blue cheese, and honey.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. That'd
Yeah.
be beautiful because the beets would have a little bit of earthiness.
Yeah. A little earthy, a little bit
And
iron. You get that little bit of
mhm.
creamy piquant from the blue cheese, and then that earth and sweetness from the honey. Just round it all together. Like, yeah, that to me sounds like a pretty nice bite with a drink.
Yeah, I I think that's a great idea. And then yeah, we'll see because this might, if it's like a really rich Italian beef that we're gonna have, this might not stand up to it.
Yeah, it
Actually,
might get run over
you know,
because you can do
it
that.
might.
When you're doing wine pairings, your food can definitely get run over. Or sorry, wine can run over food and food can run over wine. That road goes both ways. It's so funny. That was one of the biggest things when I was, training staff and how to sell wine. Everyone's so afraid with pairings. And I always said, man, it's like the Hippocratic Oath. Just above all, do no harm. Don't make some real
Hmm.
dumbass choices where they're going to ruin each other. But beyond that, the way most of us drink, like it's gonna be good. Wine's good. If you're working at a restaurant that's been open for more than 3 months, the food's probably halfway good. Like, throw some spaghetti against the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah, don't mess it up, and that's what we do with cocktails as well.
A
You know,
hundred
when you're
percent.
thinking about, like, I mean, in the case of the winemaker, yeah, this is 2019. It was made. The farmers spent that season growing this grape, and then the winemakers fermented it, and then they aged it and bottled it, and it spent all this time resting until this moment right now. So we won't, morally, we don't want to mess that up. This is from Mother Nature and
A hundred
man
percent. And
and
I
history
like
and
that you
culture.
brought
It's
that
great.
up back to the cocktail thing. That's one of the reasons we wanted to do this episode was not just to be like, wow, we have good palates and we've done this for a while. It's to get you thinking in the
Listen,
mindset
listen to me sound like a douche.
that which I mean, that really should be the byline of this podcast. Listen to me sound like a douche. Um,
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready.
the douche. Uh, we wanted to kind of explain or elucidate a bit what our mindset is when we're going to create a cocktail. It's not just, hey, I got a case break on, this rum, or boy, I've never heard about this gin before. Let's wang it into something. It's okay, I have kind of put this through the filter in which I judge spirits. And as I'm doing that, that bumps into the palette of spirits that I've added to my lexicon. And I'm thinking, oh man, what are complementary or contrasting things that are going to make this interesting? Sick, I want to put these in a cocktail. And I think that's a great way to pair this back to rums because we've both selected kind of a litany rums of certain different styles. And as I probably mentioned here before, one of the things that really got me into rum was my background in wine. I think rum, more like any spirit, is like wine in that where it's from tells you more about what its characteristics will be than anything else. So, all those things said, Adam, what rum do you want to start with?
We have a Martinique. We have the Chop Coeur from Martinique.
Unless you're me, and then you have the La Favorite, which is, I believe, also from Martinique, but we just didn't have two bottles of that one.
Then we also have a Spanish style. We have the Don Q Añejo. They used to call it the Don Q Añejo. Now they're calling it the Don Q 7. Plus, there's gunpowder, English style, wooden still, and gunpowder strength.
Yeah, and they called it gunpowder strength because back in the day when rum was a commodity on ships, it was very common that people would cut it with water or something like that to dilute it before they traded it. And gunpowder strength came from if you took a few grains of gunpowder, put some of the spirit on it, and the gunpowder still ignited, then that's a damn fine spirit. And if it didn't, you might be on the receiving end of that gunpowder.
Exactly. So yeah. So when we're tasting these, I normally your initial instinct might be like, I'm going to go from light to dark, and that might be a good way to go in this case. I'm not saying it's not, but if you're thinking about flavor, Martinique tends to bring a lot of flavor and a little bit higher proof than a more docile Spanish one. But then the Spanish one has that 7 years, minimum 7 years of oak aging on that one. So that's going to bring a little bit more weight to the party. So I don't know. My bottles are going like this. I kind of want to do that.
My
What are your
bottles are
thoughts?
doing the same thing, Mr. Rains. You want to go tallest to shortest?
Let's follow the bottle.
Let's start in Martinique. And as we talked about the
Absolutely.
importance of glassware with rum, or I'm sorry, with wine, what glassware have you chosen to enjoy your rum out of?
I have a little snifter here
Something we would
because
put Dole soft serve in at work.
I think it might be this might be a fugitive that hopped in my car and wanted to escape the haunted tiki bar that I work at. So may have happened.
And while I understand you're using something again with the nice bowl for surface area that sort of convexes towards the top so that it's bringing more of those esters and flavor notes to your nose, I like a good old fashioned Mai Tai glass to try rum out of. And it's even better if it's from somewhere like the Tiki Cat in Kansas City that no longer exists. So,
Oh,
my
pour one out
recommendation
for
if
the
you're going to
dead
try some
homies.
rums, uh, try it from a bar that was too unique to live and sadly did not survive the pandemic.
It's bittersweet, but hopefully the rum will not be.
So, Martinique rums. What do we know about this, brother?
So Martinique rums, obviously, was a French colony, and so when we talk about rums, there's obviously a lot of different styles. There's a lot of exceptions to rules, and I won't say there are just three styles there, but there are three main traditions. This one comes from the French tradition, being a French island. So Martinique is one that has very specific rules on how they make their rum. So this one in Martinique, they do a column still, and it is one thing that makes it unique from Spanish or English style rums is that they use sugarcane juice, fresh pressed sugarcane juice they ferment that before putting it in the column still. They can be aged or unaged. A lot of times they'll use French oak, obviously being a French colony. Those are some of the kind of the main rules of them. But being made from sugarcane juice, you can imagine sugarcane is a grass. So grass has green notes to it. It has grassy tones. It has some herbal tones. So depending how you ferment, how long you ferment, other French islands will do a few different little things as well. But that grassiness, that or those herbal notes transfer into Martinique rums. So
Yeah,
really,
and a
really
lot
cool.
of those with those agricole style rums, it's not uncommon that where the sugarcane is harvested is literally right next to the distillery. So there is the most minimal amount of time from harvest to crushing the sugarcane, getting that fresh juice into the distiller. And yeah, this is not going to have any of that processed sugar byproduct. There's not going to be any dunder, any muck, any molasses. A lot of those notes that give you, or a lot of those elements that give you, the more kind of burnt sugar notes or caramely notes to rums. Yeah, these are, in my opinion, a different form of kind of hogo. It's not when you think of Jamaican rums with that sort of desiccated banana. Like these can almost be fleshy. They can have that sharp kind of grass notes that Adam was talking about. Yeah, a good agricole rum really is just a right hook. It's got something to say and it doesn't care if you want to hear it or not. It's coming through.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the sugar cane. Yeah, that's one part of it. Like the sugar cane has to be pressed very quickly because otherwise you can get some of those other funky notes that maybe the producer doesn't want. And I always thought one thing when I was first tasting agricole, I just assumed since cognac uses pot still
Right.
and agricole has such a big flavor that I I just assumed that they did that. So that was kind of like one of the things that I learned after the fact is that they're column still. Other French islands, for the most part, don't use column stills, or they will. There's not such specific rules, but Agricole, they want to make sure they have that. They have this, like you mentioned, rum coming from a place. Rum terroir is a thing, and they want you to know that this is from Martinique.
Yeah.
It's not just. It's not from Haiti. It's not from Puerto Rico. It's from
Yeah, San
Martinique. You can
Lucia, anything
absolutely
like
tell
that.
that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you getting on the nose of your rum there?
Ooh, getting like maybe like a little honeysuckle, kind of creamy in a way, almost like a raw vanilla. Not like a vanilla extract, but like the greenness and the vanilla are coming through that. It's little bit savory as well. I don't know if it's not really like a almost like a green kind of nut as well.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
this La Favorite, I mean, definitely Agricole. It has that weird underripe vegetal kind of nose that seems to be very common thread throughout Agricole's. I would call it fleshy. You can tell it's hot. You can smell there's alcohol on it. Um, yeah, it's almost like maybe a touch of pencil eraser. Uh, yeah, it's definitely making a statement. And it's interesting because a lot of times with rums, you get these like brulee notes, you get these sweet notes, which we'll get into rums with later, that are sort of inviting. This is almost like the nose is a challenge. Like it's like, yeah, I know what I am. Fuck you, drink me, motherfucker. Let's you want this shit? Let's fucking dance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This one, I mean, keep going back to it. This one is pungent for sure, but like I think I know every producer is a little bit different, but this one having those kind of like almost creamy kind of notes coming through like softens it or definitely. But let's see on the palate. What do you got
Yeah.
on? I saw you took a sip. What does it
Um,
taste like?
it's little basementy. It's amazingly fresh carrot-y. That
Mm,
sort of beta carotene flavor that you get from like fresh carrots. I'm definitely not expected that this is what we would consider where the nose does not belie the palate. The nose is like a hard different road than what the palate is. It doesn't come off as overly sweet. I would call it dry. Yeah, it's like crisp and refreshing. Again, a lot of that like sort of old vegetal flavors aren't there. It's almost like white peppery. This is fun. If I were gonna play with this
hmm.
rum, I'd love to see, and I'm not just saying this because it's a white rum. I'd love to see it in a daiquiri, like a little bit of citrus, a little bit of sugar. I want to see how that plays with it.
Maybe even
Um, yeah,
split base or something would be nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
something with a little more kind of sweet roundness, like the Foursquare Probietas or whatever it
Hmm.
is. Like I think these would
Yeah.
play really well together. Um, yeah, super fun. I wouldn't do too much with this because it's interesting enough. I think the most interesting rums going beyond a tea punch or a daiquiri, you just shouldn't do it. Because why are you adding so many other things to mask it? That's just my personal
Right.
opinion. If
No,
you've
that
got a
makes
real
sense.
rum where you're like, oh wow, shit, I'm not used to this, then yeah, affect it lightly, add some salt and pepper. But beyond that, like just let that lady sing her song.
Yeah, and this one, I mean, I keep going back to the nose. It's like so intriguing. It's so floral and so pretty, but it's also it has that little hook underneath it'll catch you by the chin. And then one thing I'm struck by on the palate is this one is really oily.
Oh yeah.
Even though it's from a column still, and obviously you can run a column still at lower temperature
Hmm.
so that it almost acts like a pot still. You don't have to run it up so that you get 95% alcohol like you would vodka. But so I'm just struck by this. The texture is really nice, and actually almost, you said La Favorite finishes dry. This has I don't know if it's perceived sweetness. I don't think they do dosage. I mean, they could, but there's this perceived sweetness with this that's just really nice because you have that high proof alcohol kind of ready to burn you, but then the viscous, oily texture and that little sweetness
A little bit of
just
sweetness
goes
brings it
along
back.
with it does with that like floral, like honeysuckle, almost lemongrass kind of like thing it has
And as
going
Adam
on.
referenced, dosage is when post distillation additional sugar is added. Um, like in wine, you'll hear of chaptalization. You see that a lot in champagne and that, where you add sugar
Mm-hmm.
during fermentation to increase your alcohol by volume. But dosage is basically, yeah, like you ferment a spirit and then add more sugar to kind of smooth it out.
Mhm. Yep, you're right, and you mentioned champagne, so that's why, I mean, we could probably have a whole episode on just dosage and rum making because there's kind of it's a taboo subject, and it's, like, Richard Seale's work is amazing that, like, I totally agree that there should be transparency, but I don't necessarily think it's like the devil. It's not a bad thing,
No, there's
but it is
definitely
cheating a bit,
it's
you could
cheating a
argue that.
bit, but it's, do you like cream or sugar in your coffee? You know,
Mhm.
and again, most of us don't drink spirits just on their own. We don't sit down and crack a Jack Daniels and say, "Yeah, I'm going to house this neat." Unless you're Jim Belushi. Yeah, generally we're adding affectations to make a spirit more pleasurable to us. And so if, the distiller is kind of cutting out that, yeah, sure, maybe there's not that transparency there. Is it the worst thing in the world? Again, one of the reasons that we like so much to be educators in spirit and in wine, if you think about it, your average consumer, when you mention rum, they're probably thinking Captain Morgan, Bacardi, or Malibu. In the same way that when you mention vodka, they're probably thinking, Smirnoff, Absolute. You say whiskey, they think Jack, Jim, maybe Wild Turkey. But really, like your average consumer doesn't do these deep dives. One of the first iterations you have of a spirit that forms your opinion on it. The first
Mhm.
rum you ever have is Captain Morgan, and you go, "Oh, fuck, that is just like vanilla and suntan lotion. I don't like
Mhm.
that." That's fine. That doesn't mean you don't like rum. It means you don't like rum with a lot of chemical flavor elements added.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Like, yeah, here's something from, Barbados. Here's something from Guyana. These are going to be, again, the same sort of base elements, but presented in a much more pure way. Maybe this is cool. And then they try that, like, oh, I never would have guessed. And we are at
Absolutely.
that
And
point.
rum is that spirit category that can blow your mind, like on how different. You said it earlier. It's the most diverse spirit category, and so therefore, it's for me. It's the most fun. It's just the funnest. I mean, they call gin the distiller's muse, which means, yeah, you can. It's all about what you're adding into and what you're adding to it and what you can do to adulterate that. But rum has all the way from the agriculture to sense of place to what you do afterwards as well, in country to country. It's like amazing stuff.
But I think
I
it's
love the
time to
mine.
move on to rum number two, the Don Hugh.
Ooh, excellent, excellent, excellent. So this one's from Puerto Rico. This is aged a minimum of 7 years. They used to call this the Don Quiñonejo. They changed that and now put an age statement on there since they have worked hard to making it be a 7 year minimum because in the rum world, being it is known as the wild wild west of the spirits world, as in because there's so many countries that produce it, and every country has its own laws, and so there a lot of countries will put an age statement on there, call it Solera method. And obviously, if you see 23 years on a spirit, as a general consumer, you just assume, oh, that's better.
Oh,
Older
23
means
years
better,
old. Dope.
you
Wow.
know? And not knowing, yeah, maybe there is that 0.00002% on it that is
Yeah.
actually 23 years. It does
23 with
maybe,
an asterisk.
yeah, maybe it matters. It doesn't matter. I think for me personally, we could talk about this on another episode as well, but like I think overaging in the rum world is definitely a thing, especially if you're thinking about tropical aging as opposed to continental aging. Like it's a
High
thing.
temperature,
There's
high humidity. Yeah.
too much contact with that barrel
Hmm.
is a thing. But Don Q, I really like this rum company. They're not as big as their brothers or their cousins, the Bacardi, but they do fun rums. I love the latest sherry cask finish. We used to have the vermouth cask finish, which was good. And I like that they're really sustainable. Being on an island, they're doing things, I'm sure, partially out of necessity, but it's also the right thing to do. Like from capturing the CO2 from fermentation to recycling, all every part of their production method is reused as much as they can. So
Oh, and that's
uh,
fantastic. And while the last rum we tried was in a French tradition, the Don Q is distilled in a Spanish tradition, correct?
absolutely, absolutely. So you might have heard us say, there's kind of three general rum traditions, not three styles. There's multiple styles, but their three rum traditions are from the three main colonizers of the Caribbean. So you have French, Spanish, and English. Before we tried the French, and one of the main differences in French style rums is the raw material and how it's treated. So French style uses sugar cane, fresh pressed sugar cane, or they'll do a sugar cane syrup, while Spanish and English use molasses.
Yeah, the molasses, the byproduct of sugar processing. And especially as you look at the different styles, again, there's like weird muck dunder pits that you'll come into, which is just like molasses and sugar byproduct baking in the sun. And once you get to one of my favorite rum regions, Jamaica, they just dump that in and distill it out. And then idiots drink it, and it's delicious. I am proud to be one of those idiots. Now, Adam, we've talked about the importance of drinking vessels. And of course, when you're drinking a Spanish style rum, I think the best way to do it is with a medium sized shot glass from Tiki Oasis.
Oh,
Really,
I like that.
how it just shotgun blasts all of the sense up to your nose there, lets you know what you're getting into. Just the
And that
perfect
reminds me,
vessel.
that just reminds me of drinking hot rum on a hot San Diego night and just guzzling it
Yeah, just
while you're
pouring
in
it down. Especially if you're lucky enough to be buddies with some of the reps that do the spirit room tastings, and they have all their extra samplers, and you end up
mm-hmm.
in that hotel room just like I don't even need a cup, just pour it into my hand. I'll plop it up like that. After a good 16-hour day of Tiki Oasis, you'll take it any way
Yes,
you can get it. God damn it!
absolutely. And then I have my medium snifter here. I just rinsed it out, of course, because after having an agricole rum, which is very aromatic and very pungent, you want to start fresh while you're having a different style. So
So
what are you getting
immediately
on your nose?
here, I'm getting definitely bruleed sugar is coming out. You think of that burnt sugar component.
I can see that. I
Um
can see that little bit of orange as well, like almost
yeah,
like
yeah,
orange
I
zest.
totally, yeah, zest. Zest, not juice. Um
Hmm.
there's a little, just the slightest hint of funk to it. Um it's just like it's fun and playful and breezy. It's not presumptive. It's not overly deep. This is definitely yeah, I wouldn't say this is a rum to drink, not a rum to dissect. And
Hmm.
again, you see that a lot in wines. Like there are wines that want you to write a novel about them, and then there are there are wines that just want to. They're there for a good time. This is a good
let's
time rum.
enjoy. Hmm. I agree. There's nothing that on the nose that there's no flaws for sure.
Yeah.
There's it's just every note I get is just pleasant. I mean, I get a little sawdust, which for me, sawdust isn't always 100% like in my pleasure zone, so to speak. But I get it, but it's not like at 12 o'clock. I kind of get that, but it's not in an obtrusive way. And then just kind of exploring, you're like everything is there, and it's nice. So
It's funny you say
let's
that
try it.
because yeah, the palate for me definitely starts out sweet and round. The early finish, I get a lot of pencil shaving. I didn't necessarily get the sawdust that you did on the nose, but I'm getting a lot of pencil shaving in the mid palate. And then I'm getting like a touch of, and I don't know, I don't want to sound too pretentious, but like I just say what I think of. I get a touch of Carmat on the final finish, like processed rubber, which
Okay.
again isn't uncommon in cocktails, getting those sort of petrol based notes.
Right, and we didn't say that on the agricole, but I mean, I definitely always get a little petrol
Always.
on agricole, and on this one, I mean, sometimes those, and we won't necessarily have to call them flaws, but sometimes those little bits of things that make it different accentuate the things that you like, and I make it more interesting as well.
Yeah. This rum is still, and I'm by no means trying to dunk on it. I think it's lovely. Again, in the Spanish style, you're always going to get more wood. You're always going to get more tobacco and earth than really in the other two major styles. I would still do this as a daiquiri. But I think definitely like this is a rum that's a good structured rum to build a cocktail around. You're
Hmm.
getting the sugary notes. This is a rum that presents as rum. And depending on what you want to throw at it, it's going to stand up to that. So, yeah, if I'm building like a tiki drink, especially in this really nice 1 liter format, yeah, that's sitting at the home bar. That's one of my big blenders and mixers. That's going into
Yeah,
drinks. If I'm making a rum punch, throw some fruit juice on it, throw a little bit of sugar on it. It's going to hold up. It's going to do what you want it to. You're going to be happy all day long.
I think, and even I even think it potentially using like a spirit board cocktail as well. It has enough structure. It's round enough. So if you did like a rum and rye Manhattan, it might work. I think it. I mean, it's not. I've had rums that are bigger, but I think there's enough wood tannins there. There's enough
Hmm.
roundness that even like a rum old fashioned,
Yeah, I was
this
just gonna
could
say
this
rum
could
old
be
fashioned.
the
That would
thing,
hold up.
you know. So yeah, I've always liked this. I mean, it's a really good price point as well. I For the price, like their Grand Reserva, which is like their next step up for Don Q, the price point jumps quite a bit. The enjoyment for me doesn't really jump up that much, so I'd buy this one first before that one. Ooh, we're sailing on like we did in our seminar. C is for
C
cocktail.
is
We
for cocktail.
I don't know if any of you maybe that are out there right now that are listening. Maybe you were there.
I have
Maybe
one of
you
the
received.
few remaining books from C is for
Wow,
cocktail.
wow.
That
That was
that
for Tiki Oasis,
we
right?
did for Tiki Oasis, where Adam and I were vastly differently represented. I don't know who put this together, but
Oh,
especially considering this is a podcast, we've had a lot of visual gags this episode. But
we are.
yeah, for all the different drinks and port cities we talked about, we put the recipes on screen and then gave a book out. And we even had a little fun with people. Of course, we talked about drinks from the Titanic, but then we had to talk about, the different cruise ship variations of Mai Tai, which got a suitable
People love that
groan.
one.
Um, and even gave out a few recipes for golden tiki cocktails that
Yeah, those are highly sought after, and especially the Nico's rum barrel. You there, you see that
well,
one
in the
was.
captain's quarters. I mean, that is an Adam Raines legendary drink that we have. So yeah, it was funny. There was I think 100 tickets sold for it. I made like 125 of these, and I got one. We ran through all of them. So anyway,
I
a little
might have one as well.
self-indulgence. There is our cocktail book, and as we sail on, we find ourselves in the dulcet waters. Is it Guyana? Is that how you pronounce it? Guyana?
Guyana. I'm
Guyana.
not from there, but
Of course, everybody knows the Pussers. They are the official rum of the painkiller cocktail from
they
the
own it.
Soggy Dollar
Don't.
Bar. Yep.
Yes.
Um,
Do not put another rum in that cocktail, otherwise they will
but this is
speak.
their gunpowder proof,
Mm-hmm.
which is yeah a dangerous 54.5 alcohol by volume. Um, I've made the mistake with this bottle of having a couple drinks with it at home, and yeah, she comes ripping. It definitely, you wouldn't think just that uptick in an additional 14 and a half proof from what you're used to normally drinking with the 40 proofs is that much, and then after a couple drinks you're like, I need to lay down forever.
Yeah.
Cancel my day tomorrow. It's over. And of course, drinking vessels are important whenever you're drinking a rum with such robust history, British nautical history, history within the Caribbean. The only appropriate vessel is a weird Ed Roth style
Ooh, yes.
monster mug.
Rat Fink
This is
Monster,
after a good
man.
couple Pusser's gunpowder proof cocktails, you're gonna feel like this guy looks.
Dude,
So
that guy's amazing.
I got
I
this at
want
Cash for
that.
Chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's beautiful. I love it.
So the
Beautiful,
nose
maybe
is
not the word,
hot.
but it's cool.
The nose, it you can tell there's booze in this.
You definitely can, but underneath, I mean, I'm getting the vanilla. I'm
Yeah.
getting, straight molasses. I'm getting
It's light banana. It's not,
caramel.
it's like green banana. It's
Right.
not
Okay.
the
Yeah.
desiccated kind of Jamaican banana. Um,
Yeah. And again, yeah, that alcohol just, I'm sure, I think this one sat for a bit and the
mhm.
alcohol could wafe off. I'm sure we could just really dive in there. And I'm wondering what it would be like with like a touch of water. But because that nose is nice, but then
The nose is
alcohol
lovely.
is just kind of singeing you a little bit.
But even through it is a hard brulee. Burnt sugar, but not in an unpleasant way. Like I'm sorry, I'm on the palate now. I'm trying it.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, it's sweet and pleasant on the finish. Like it's warming as it goes down. You know you're drinking something. Um but it's
Ooh,
savory. It's a little bit baked goods. I can't put my finger on it.
I
There's a
almost
little
get a
bit of
little
baked good to
licorice.
it. Really.
Not
Um
not not so much like on the anise side, not like
mhm.
Twizzler, but I'm getting yeah, it's wow, that's really fun. I haven't tried this one in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely as you're aerosolizing it, it's creamy. Yeah, almost like root. I don't know if I'd say licorice, but there's some root to it. Uh
Yeah, like a sarsaparilla almost,
yeah.
or root beer kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. And then I mean, and that's a really nice. It's a pleasant note to go along with that with the burn of the alcohol, but
Yeah.
it sort of like numbs your mouth a little bit.
The sweetness holds up so well, and it's not a false sweetness. Like it's one of the things Guyana is one of my favorite rum regions because their rums are just across the board that bruleed sugar. They're sweet, but not in a cloying way. They're approachable. They're super fun on their own, but boy, do they want to be in a cocktail. I mean, there really is a reason that even though it's not technically a tiki drink, the painkiller is such a ubiquitous drink because yeah, this rum came to play. It's a crowd pleaser. It wants to be voted king of the prom. It's got something for everyone.
Hmm. Absolutely, and Guyana too. They're known for having one of the hallmarks and things that I still don't understand that I want to make a trip down there is like the wooden still.
Yeah.
That like famous wooden still, which helps. I'm sure it helps define the flavor, and it helps. I mean, for sure, defines the mystique of it as well. And just knowing that it's such a great region for sugar, because obviously sugar production takes a lot of water, and
Yeah, on
they
the
are.
Demerara River there.
And they're not land. I mean, they're not landlocked. They're on a continent. I mean, they're not. They're not on an island, so they have a lot of water, so they can make some of the best sugar. So if you have the best sugar, theoretically, you can have some of the best molasses and then the best rum.
100%. And I think that is just a lovely rum. The
And it's just
entire,
toffee, and yeah,
yeah,
every time you go back, you get another like bit of burnt sugar, but it kind of like
yeah, to a
changing
different
into
aspect,
another.
whether it's,
Yeah,
yeah, more caramely, more brulee, more just kind of that molasses antecedent. It's all pleasant.
yeah.
Um,
I almost get like a little dark fruit in there as well,
I can see
almost
that.
like a like a not a necessarily wine reduction, but like a current reduction or something.
Yeah,
It's not
little
even
rum cake.
boysenberry.
Yeah.
Rum cake. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Mr. Rain, so we've gone through the three primary rum regions, but I think as a little bit of a bonus, we've both chosen sort of an outlier rum that you only have yours and I only have mine. That I think we want to wrap things up with. And this is, again, this should be to sort of elucidate how we taste, how we go about describing the spirits that we want to work with, and what we get excited about, because really, like, what I tell my staff every day is, what are you excited about today? What are you enthusiastic about? Because if you're not enthusiastic about it, then who cares? How am I supposed to sell this to a guest if no one gives a damn? And you think of the world, it's what I love about spirits. It's so ubiquitous, but it's so regional. These different styles of making things that should be exciting. This connects us within the human condition. And so, yeah, we kind of challenged each other to find what's something that you're excited about that maybe you're unfamiliar with. After all these years of both of us walking down this road, what are we unfamiliar with, and what do we want to present the other one with? So, Mr. Rains, what are you bringing to the table for your final rum today?
So this is something I've never tried before. It's something that I've been excited about. It's something that I've asked for and I've fought to get here into our Las Vegas market, just because out of sheer desire just to learn about it. I mean, like you'd think Las Vegas is a big market and we sell a lot of booze and we should be able to get everything, but believe it or not, for those who aren't in the industry, not every producer wants to deal with the Vegas market, because we are more of a quantity versus quality market. You could definitely say that.
100%.
While we do have a lot of people fighting the good fight to get good things here, but a lot of people don't want to deal with it. Like Ed Hamilton. Ed Hamilton just stopped selling it for a while, and so I had to like talk to Ed. I had to email him and text him and say, Ed, please come back. Please come back to Vegas. Come back to Nevada. And we finally helped find him a distributor. And now we have Hamilton Rums in Las Vegas. But
Top notch.
this is
Nice
one of
work.
those things. This product right here. So this is the Sol Tarasco Charanda. So for those who aren't familiar with Charanda, Charanda is a type of Mexican rum. It's from the Michoacan region, which is next to Jalisco. Michoacan, they're known to have the puripecha, like they're known to have red soil, and so it's a very specific soil type for their sugar. They've been growing sugar there for a long time, and a lot of people don't know Mexico has been a sugar producer for a while, and they've been making rum for hundreds of years now. So Mexico does have a really good rum tradition, and a lot of its indigenous rum tradition is different from that normal kind of like ubiquitous Spanish style that you would think, because there is a lot of the rum industry in Mexico was sort of backyard stuff. So wherever wherever sugarcane would grow, they would do it their way. Like in Oaxaca, they've grown sugarcane for a while. We have several rums from Oaxaca. Nick, I know you've tried some of our funky agricole style rums from Oaxaca.
Oh, you're goddamn
And
right I have.
and Michoacan is one of those as well. Michoacan, like I mentioned, is a region that has the red soil. They have the Puripecha people that have been there forever. There's Michoacan cuisine, which is delicious, like Lindo Michoacan. We're gonna have to go there, Nick. That shrimp Puripecha, named from the same region, is a delicious dish. But back to this. So charanda can be made from sugarcane juice and molasses. They can do kind of both there. It has to be from that red clay soil. That's one of the rules they have there. Otherwise, they can vary in their techniques between pot and column still. So we've had the Urapan for a while. We've had the Urapan Añejo, which are both bring some of the little agricole funkiness to the party, along with some of that molasses richness. This one in particular is 100% sugarcane juice, I'm told. And this one is the reason I was so excited about it is that you see on the label there is a hongo, or mushroom in Spanish. So this one is actually distilled with mushrooms. So forgive me for my ignorance. It's new to me. I do believe they ferment the cane juice with mushroom and then distill it. I don't think it's a infusion after the process, but if anyone out there knows, send us a note, because
drop a comment.
I'm really excited about this. But anyway, let's try it. We have our little mushroom pendant here. I'll probably do some kind of necklace. It seems like something I'd wear, right?
Delightful.
My hippie days. Let's pour. Ooh, it is a little bit savory. Okay, so this one you can see, it's a little bit of it has a golden hue to it. It is right in the middle, almost a color of like a Pilsner. It's like a golden Pilsner. Yeah. And this one has ex whiskey barrel and ex sherry cask in there too.
Oh, wow. They threw the whole kitchen sink at this rum.
They did. So let's see. Nose. Is this going to be? I might be going out there on a limb, but there is a little bit of mushroom to this. A little dried mushroom, not fresh. No, but there's definitely mushroom. There's a little bit of vanilla sweetness to it. Ooh, almost like a mesquite. It's not really smoky, but it's almost like a mesquite, like a fresh, like if it's fresh cut mesquite wood or something.
It's like a Lay's barbecue potato chip.
It kind of is, actually. It absolutely is. All right, let's try it. Boom. That is so fun.
Really?
That is so fun, and I'm gonna have to look into the production methods. There's not, like I said, it's not really smoky, but there's almost a perceived smoke. It almost like between the earthiness of the dried mushroom, because the mushroom's there, and there's almost between that and the earthiness, almost like a petrol, along with the sweetness of the sherry cask, and I'm getting mesquite for sure. Now I don't know if it's like almost like a liquid smoke type of flavor. Let's go back. Let's see. That is interesting AF. I don't know. This is
I've been swearing.
a show, right?
No, we're drinking, we're swearing. I've got some strippers coming over later, so we're
I love it.
We're in international waters, brother.
On the finish, it's almost, there's a hint of like it's a little bit astringent, but not. It's not. It's still pleasant. Because there's so much going on, it almost works.
I can get behind
that. It's going in between there's the sweetness, sherry sweetness, earthiness, and it goes to the mesquite and like that hint. I don't even know if they smoke anything, but there's a hint of smoke, and then the astringentness just kind of like sits there, almost wood tannin. But
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
this
fantastic.
is
When you think of Mexico, you don't necessarily think of it as a rum region. And I think you found a great representation of something that's, very much in a traditional style of rum, but then done very much in a way that makes it interesting and something everyone should try and seek out.
yeah, absolutely. And the Urapan from Michoacan is great. And we can do a whole episode on Mexico rum. I know in the Rumcast, if any of you guys listen to that, they do an amazing job on that podcast, and they've covered it pretty well. But
Fantastic.
yeah,
So,
let's do it.
close to your heart, of course, Adam went South America. Now, I wanted to do something Jamaican because that's one of my favorites. And when we were picking out rums that we wanted to try together, it was very important to you that they were kind of single rums, not blended rums. So then it became very important to me. Let's pick a blended rum. This
Ooh,
is the
is that the Shannon Mustafar?
Yep, the Myrtle Bank
Yes.
Jamaican rum. This is Shannon Mustafar, the amazing tropical cocktail mixologist. This is their
We love
blend.
you. We love you. We miss you.
Yeah, Shannon, you are a legend. And of course, can only drink it out of a plastic cup. Like you're at a
On the
party.
Beachcomber.
This is the last rum. It's the end of the night. We're gonna throw it in a plastic cup. We're going to think about it, but we're going to enjoy it because we're really focused on the good times that we've had and how. Oh, and hey, you have a bottle
Nick,
yourself.
well, why didn't you tell me?
You know,
That one.
hey, then a little bonus pour for the doctor there as I'm trying it.
No.
Get yourself one. If you're at home, pour yourself anything. Who cares at this point? We've been on an amazing journey. We're glad you took it with us. And again,
This one is for Jamaica. This is for us. This is for Vegas.
yeah,
And
this
this
has
is
got a
for
10-year age. Mine doesn't even I think say the alcohol by volume. All of that where it would say these things should be handwritten. They are not. Boy, the
Shannon.
nose, you get a little bit of the banana. I wouldn't say it's desiccated. I wouldn't say this is a traditional Hogo Funk. I would say this is ripe banana. It is a light minerality. Did you break another cork?
I did not, but
Oh,
I
okay.
did grab. I grabbed
Oh, a
a
little bamboo club glass.
Bamboo
Mixing it
Club,
up.
baby.
I love it. Yeah, this is the nose is bananas and ice cream. Not banana ice cream, but bananas and ice cream.
Ooh, that's beautiful.
It's clean, it's fun. Again, that vanilla is just there with a little sweetness.
There's for sure cream all day. Soda. I mean, I get a hint of Jamaican rums. You get a lot of rubber. I don't get very much of this, or like a burnt rubber, but I get it as if almost we were having bananas and ice cream in Jamaica and a car drove by,
Yeah.
like on the other side of the street, and you maybe get that hint of rubber or something burnt there. But it's mainly just fresh and clean and playful.
Yeah, and it's the palate I'm getting bright fruit on the start. The mid palate, this is going to sound weird. I'm getting new carpet, which I can't
Like in a
describe
new
better than
apartment.
that. Yeah.
Like in a new apartment where you smell that
Yeah.
fresh new carpet.
Yeah, fresh carpet, like it's right there. And it's musty, but I wouldn't say basementy. It's musty like celery. Not celery like the vegetable, but like a cellar. It's got some cellar on the finish.
And even as you know, that new carpet, they just cleaned that new carpet, and that
right.
new carpet is still a little bit wet with that fragrance.
Touch of mildew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Shannon, good job. Shannon,
fantastic
gave me
job. This rum,
the last Tiki Oasis too.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
This rum definitely, I think, just wants to sing on its own. Like the alcohol is standing up. I would drink it neat. I would drink it on the rocks. I would do a daiquiri. It's delicate and nuanced enough. I don't know how many cocktails I'd throw at it, I know that it is blended rum, basically designed to be for the Myrtle Bank Punch cocktail,
Hmm.
which I'm not as familiar with, but maybe like a kiss of passion fruit along with some sugar and lime with this, I think could really open it up.
Yeah,
But outside of that,
touch of vanilla too.
yeah.
Even I mean, if we want to go cream soda with it, like a passion fruit cream soda with this, even
Oh,
you know.
100%. And yeah, so I hope that you've enjoyed this bit of journey with us. You know, there are so many amazing rums out there. Like, just go out and taste them, try them on their own. Think about what would this be cool with? What does this make me excited about? What do I want to pair this with? And then parlay that excitement into what the next thing is. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You're going to be disappointed. You're going to make a wrong choice. At least you're still having fantastic drinks. You're creating stories. And hopefully, just like we've
A
done
good
tonight,
buzz
have a good
and a
time
good
with
buzz.
friends and a good buzz. No one loses. And you know what? Here in the Tiki Rebellion, I find all of us winners. Adam Rains, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. I want to thank you for your expertise. If you got through this and didn't learn something, boy howdy, good on you. I know I'm taking some things away from tonight, and I think I have a couple new rums I have to seek out for my collection.
I do too. It makes me want to go dive deeper into see what else Myrtle Bank has because I'm really happy we got to open this up. Tonight I got to open up this. We've had a lot of firsts, and then of course that Sol Tarasco cordyceps mushroom infused Charanda rum, and I think it's great. I mean, I know they're working another season
Of The
of The
Last of
Last
Us.
of Us. So I think that is going. We're gonna have to make a cocktail in its
Track
honor.
that wine down and or track that rum down, and yeah, maybe we'll come up with a drink for your viewing party.
Yes, absolutely.
Follow us on the social medias, comment, let us know. Our email is on here, our Facebook is on here, or not our Facebook, our Instagram. Yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about, and we can't wait to come up with the next episode.
Absolutely. I mean, and just us, obviously, we're industry professionals and professional alcoholics, you could say as well. But we mainly are just fans of this as well. We've chosen, this is our profession we've chosen. So we're big fans of this. So let us know what else you guys want to hear. Also, if you're in Vegas, come see us at the Golden Tiki. It's a 24-hour, all hours spectacle of a tiki bar in Las Vegas. We do a rum club once a month. We just had Tanduay rum. We have another one coming up in weeks. So we're going to be doing that every month as well. So there's ways to come see me and Nick. You might see me in the back mixing up some potions. You might see Nick up
In the
in the
back,
ceiling
crying my eyes
fixing
out.
robots and birds.
Hey,
You like to fix fix the wiring, fix the robots and birds.
if it
You
doesn't
do a
work,
little bit of everything.
I'm the guy.
You
Yeah.
know?
Thanks for joining us. Join us next time. Cheers and mahalo. So, yeah, you know what's obnoxious? I bought this hat. This is obviously a knockoff that was on Amazon for like $13. It's a
That is a really good
snapback.
looking.
Yeah, it's a snapback. My head's so goddamn big. I don't even have like it's as open as it can be on the back, and it barely
Big
perches on top of my head.